Here we go, hurricane season, always looming. And this year, 2025, just looks wild. NOAA is expecting, 19 to 25 named storms? That's kind of a lot to wrap your head around. I think it's 7 to 11 of those could become hurricanes, and then out of those, 3 to 6 might go major, category 3 or higher. That's enough to make anyone a little anxious, right?
Yeah, that's a lot. These numbers are even scarier if you remember like last year's predictions. This year, Colorado State said hurricane activity could be like 125% what we usually see. So the risk just keeps climbing.
Exactly. And what's really driving all this, apart from the usual suspects, is the warmer Atlantic waters. That plus changes in ENSO, El Niño Southern Oscillation, if I'm getting the acronym right. Those climate patterns are just supercharging everything. They're saying storms that used to take their sweet time can now go from mild to monstrous, like overnight.
Rapid intensification. That's what the scientists call it. You can have a category 1 hurricane and boom, it's a category 4 after 24 hours. More than double the rate since the 90s, they say.
Honestly, that makes my hair stand on end. I remember covering a big cyclone years ago for a local Melbourne news station. Totally different hemisphere, but there are parallels. Back then, our big lesson was, don't underestimate how fast things change. The US is seeing that now on a whole different level, and I still have news anchors' voices in my dreams telling people to evacuate sooner. It's wild.
That's a good point, Ruby. We're seeing more storms, higher category, and everything's just happening faster. The combination, warmer seas, changing climate, that's what everyone's watching now. And that's how we're starting off the season. So, if we talk about where the risk is, states like Florida are just at the center of the bull's eye as always. Something like 3 million homes in Florida are at risk from storm surge flooding. Apparently, a third of all the homes have this D or F risk rating for hurricane damage. It's not exactly reassuring.
Yeah, and Louisiana's even got a higher percentage, over half their housing at risk. Then you've got Texas, especially Houston, Galveston, where most of the 5% of at-risk homes are concentrated along the coast. Oh, and don't forget Mississippi, Alabama, the entire Southeast corridor, really.
Absolutely. And you've got those other hotspots outside the Southeast you should watch, like Long Island in New York, the Jersey Shore. Even if the state as a whole isn't top of the list, these areas are unique because so many homes there crowd right up into the flood zone. Savannah, Georgia is another one, even though only about 4% of Georgia's homes are high risk, but they're focused basically right there.
That reminds me, you had a client, right, from New York who was debating a place in Florida. Wasn't insurance the big deal breaker?
Yeah, exactly. This investor was really excited about a beachfront property in Miami. But as we dug into the flood insurance quotes, the price just kept going up. I mean, it was more than his mortgage payment would have been on the property. He had this idea that you could just budget it in. But especially these days, insurance is sometimes the most unpredictable part of owning by the coast.
Makes sense. It's not just the wind, it's the flooding, the surge, all that. I mean, if Delaware's got 20% of homes at risk and Virginia close behind, it's clear this isn't just a Florida-Texas story. It's sort of pick your coastline, pick your poison, yeah?
Exactly. And for investors looking at properties, it's just become one of those non-negotiable checks. You absolutely must understand the hurricane exposure and insurance scene before moving forward. Otherwise, the numbers do not add up anymore.
Which brings us neatly into what this all means for real estate. Home values, insurance, getting a mortgage, the whole 9 yards. Rising hurricane risk, directly means higher insurance costs. Sometimes you just can't get coverage at all, or you've got to go with state-backed programs that aren't always cheap.
Yeah, and banks don't always want to lend, if you can't show you have the right insurance. That's especially true in the high exposure areas. I think we mentioned this for some parts of Florida and the Southeast a couple of episodes ago, but it keeps getting harder.
Right. So if you own a home in one of these hotspots or you're thinking about investing, get a handle on your flood policy. Seriously, dust off those papers, see what you're actually covered for, and update your plan if you need to evacuate. Like, where are the dog leashes? Who grabs the water bottles? I'm being silly, but those details matter when a storm is 2 hours out.
It all matters. Yeah. And then there's resilience. Look at how your property might fare. Is it raised up? Does it have hurricane shutters? Some investors are actually preferring slightly inland properties lately, just to avoid the sharpest insurance hikes and the worst case scenarios. It's really changing how people look at places like Miami versus, say, Orlando.
Yeah, like, is climate risk going to seriously move the goalposts for where people want to buy and build? Miami's iconic for a reason, but man, those insurance quotes are making other towns look pretty dreamy by comparison now.
So the bottom line for homeowners and investors, get proactive. Review your insurance, check your disaster plans, and start thinking about which locations make sense with all this in the mix. It's not just about price anymore. It's about long-term risk and resilience.
Absolutely. We'll keep watching this space as hurricane season unfolds and keep bringing you strategies and updates for navigating all these wild cards. Lior, always a pleasure talking through the storm with you.
Thank you, Ruby. Always great insights from you. To everyone tuning in, stay safe, stay smart. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Catch you all soon.